the problem, a real one.
Okay.
But he is a symptom and a result of a failed system encouraged by citizens who are, disenfranchised, poor, and who lack civic education. Because if you look at this country as it is now, and I've said this, and let me just repeat it again. There are people in this country who know what these leaders have done, but they don't mind voting for them.
Again
and again. So then the question is, for you, a young person who wants to go into leadership and transform the nation, what does it serve you for you to not enter into the room and take over the room?
Fair enough.
Because people sometimes think that we go into the room to carry the briefcase for the leaders. Sometimes we walk into the room to take over the room so that young people, we can kick the door open for other young people to come in. Now, this assumption that if you are seen with so-and-so, then their values have rubbed on you, what I can say is that values and principles in leadership is a personal choice.
Okay.
It is possible to walk with thieves and not steal.
Welcome to my channel. So this week is proving to be very eventful in the Kenyan political scene. So you just had the Inject Party leader, Morara Kebaso, defending his association with Riggy, whom he used to criticize heavily. So he was put to task by Kasmuel Mcoure when they met on TV47 yesterday. And that's because Morara has been very critical about Kasmuel's involvement with the ODM party and seemingly warming up to Ruto, who is very unpopular at the moment, especially amongst Gen Zs.
And I think here, Morara, I will say that you're being dishonest. You're not being a man of integrity. The first time I am seen with, for example, President William Ruto, you were the first person to cry on your social media page and say, "Oh, Kasmuel, oh my." I remember I saw it. It was a lamentation. It was like a jilted lover. Yeah, just let me just. Oh no. Let me now talk about like.
Okay, now.
I've been seeing so many politicians. It's so many, but he went on a whole tirade and said, "Are these not the same people who killed us? Why are you dining with them? Kama ingekuwa biashara si ungetuambia tukuchangie." And then now you want to tell us that it is a transformative idea. You suddenly have this rather transformative idea that meeting Riggy Gachagua is part of the change. That and he sits down and he tells us they are consulting on how to sort corruption. They are consulting on how to sort youth unemployment. And remember, Riggy Gachagua did not say a damn thing. And this is the thing where we have to be entirely honest. And if we're going to use a scale of morality, and this is back to the People's Court, if we are going to use a scale of morality, let it be just. Because now you hear Morara, he's making my work so easy because he's starting to say the things that I have been saying, but he has been calling me a briefcase carrier. He has been saying, oh, me joining the Right Honorable Raila Odinga was a wrong decision. Now he comes and he tells us that he's joining Riggy because Riggy has 4 million, a voter block of 4 million. What prevents me from making this argument that Raila Amolo Odinga's voter base remains largely untouched because he did not get the Mlima votes? Then let's say William Samoei Ruto has lost Mlima. If I combine these two, if you now want to talk about numbers, who has more numbers?
And I hope this is response to his question.
Because he has a very direct question about the thing. And this is why I keep on saying that we have to come to the table of equity equitably. And I go ahead and say the reason why I also castigate this thing, we have to be absolutely fair that we cannot think that that Riggy Gachagua will be our savior while you're joining a man who immediately after your meeting, the next thing he says the next day is that Gema will rule Kenya for 100 years. But you want to tell me that you have a problem with identity politics. Now, going back to this to his question, because he asks, then did you ride on the fame of the wave? It has been a rocky journey for me because there have been several mishaps, and if you've been tracking, every 2 weeks I get cancelled. Every 2 weeks I would get cancelled. By the time it's getting to Riggy Gachagua's impeachment, that was I think the last straw on the camel's back, and I said, this journey has to go on. I would have chosen to give up. I would have chosen to now stay at home and say, okay, fine, it's over. But I believe that there's a great work that is to be done. And it's not done by pulling each other down, because I would have done the thing which Morara did to me when I was doing these moves. I, I would have typed a whole essay and told him, these are the ills of Rigathi Gachagua, these are the ills of Martha Karua, these are the ills of all these people you're surrounding yourself with. But I totally understand that if you involve yourself in the political processes, it cannot be that it's okay for you to involve yourself in certain processes, but it's not okay for other people. Be that as it may. As young people, we are not limited to these existing options. That's the thing which I want us to disabuse ourselves, because we might end up reducing a very potent conversation to these options. I am just but one person. I totally believe that Chama Kubwa will bring the liberation. But if you think that the liberation will not be found in Chama Kubwa, as Mwalimu Nyerere says, kama wananchi wa Tanzania hawatayapata mabadiliko hapa katika Chama cha Mapinduzi, wananchi wataenda kuyatafuta mabadiliko hayo kwingine. You are free to keep on caucusing and keep on mobilizing and organizing to ensure that in whatever vehicle you find yourself in, you find yourself at the decision-making table. Because trust me, it is we, these young people here that you see, are the ones who, in 2024, were the biggest political players. We have
Those who missed it, last week, Morara Kebaso was invited by Martha Karua when she was rebranding her political party from NAC to PLP, which stands for People Liberation Party. So in attendance were other political leaders, including Riggy, and I think that's where Morara first met him. So fast forward, on Saturday, Morara met Riggy again and posted the same on his X page. Photo seems like they were in a hotel. That's them again seated. So Morara captioned, I met with H.E. Rigathi to discuss the reality of Kenyan politics and the practical steps that should be taken for meaningful reforms. We also discussed the issue of youth unemployment, economic exclusion, and human rights abuse. He shared with me his thoughts about what should be done to exact justice for victims of police brutality, abduction, and extrajudicial killings. I will continue to engage leaders from across the political, religious, and civic space in amplifying the voice of the youth in their quest for change. Come Monday, he met up with the political leaders for breakfast. So you can see this is Kalonzo Musyoka, that's Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, that's Morara, that's Riggy, that is Onyonka, and this is Jimmy Wanjigi. And the caption read, a working breakfast with leaders of Kenya to dissect the past, understand the present, and create the future. I continue to advocate for justice for the youth of Kenya, access to education, jobs, and opportunities to live, work, and grow in a country free from corruption. See why Kasmuel has a gripe about people criticizing him for associating with the ODM and being branded a traitor of the Gen Z movement. For those who missed that message that Kasmuel described as one from a jilted lover, it's a message that Morara posted after a photo of Kasmuel in the company of Sudi and Ruto emerged last year at some church in Rift Valley. That was Kasmuel next to Sudi, then Ruto, I think after the service was over. And that's the caption from Morara, which read, oh my God, Kasmuel, why? Aren't these the same people who killed Gen Zs in cold blood and benefited from it? Why? Is it money? Si ungeanza any biz, we support you. Kasmuel Mcoure, you have hurt Kenyans who believed in you in a way that you will never imagine. I think that message by Morara really got to Kasmuel because he just reposted a message from a guy called CDE on his X page. So the message read, the anger and bitterness directed towards Kasmuel Mcoure has everything to do with the entitlement of a group that's also very narrow-minded in their approach to politics. First, Kasmuel did not emerge from the shadows. He had been protesting much earlier, at a time very few in the group, now cancelling him, raised any finger on the bad governance that was happening then. Second, Kasmuel rejected paid activism, where people pretend to be non-partisan, then retreat to tribal NGO cocoons to cash in on the demos using the bodies of those killed as props. Third, Kenya is a multi-party democratic state. The party system is at the core of Kenya's governance architecture. Hence, to deny young people political participation in parties is self-sabotage. Kasmuel aligned where he judged to be proper. Fourth, those cancelling Kasmuel are the same groups embracing toxic tribalists and dog-whistling ethnic jingoists who see Kenya only under the prism of us versus them. Their intolerance to other views makes them a very dangerous group that must be defeated. Democracy must mean the same thing to everyone: freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of movement, and the right to hold an opinion, be it same or contrary. Young people should stop weaponizing their ignorance and projecting their political laziness on other young people. Nobody and no group should purport to decide which direction everyone who participated in the finance bill protests should take. Let's stop the intolerance. Mungu si maina. So it attracted a lot of reaction. Some reacted by saying, the reality is we will not vote for him, nor will he dictate our political discourse. You are the dictators because you can't just respect his choices and you want to oppose your worldview on him, and that's not democracy. Also, that you won't vote for him is okay because I will vote for him, and that's okay too because that's democracy. He's a con man, just like Raila. What did Raila con you? What's your point? You revolving around nonsensical matters, just stop. My point is, there's no place for intolerance in our political culture. First, the criticism is not based on his point of emergence. If he'd fallen from the sky or sprung up from the ground, the views would still stand. Second, the criticism is not based on acceptance or rejection of payment. Whether he accepted or rejected it, the views still stand. You expect a Kikuyu-led revolt to be accommodative of Luo. Think Omera. The reason I understand what Kasmuel did is because at the end of the day, you need a party to gain elective seats. The Gen Z movement was great and did great things, but all movements need movers and leaders to keep the fire burning in a structured system, that is MCA and MP's position. No matter how many times you try to sugarcoat his conman behavior, he was a wolf in sheep's coat. Him removing the coat exposed him for who he is. I think that's a Raila critic. I hope all these latest activities don't divide people along tribal lines, because we all know tribalism hinders objectivity that is required for good governance. It's hard to believe that the general elections is almost 3 years away. So guys are really politicking. You'd think we are having elections in 2 weeks' time. So just let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Like and share this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. Thank you for stopping by, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.